everyone. As a lot of you know, I've been taking an herbal medicine class this semester and learning a lot of really great things. So I wanted to do a quick video called Spice Cabinet Emergency Room and go over some of the things that I've learned in herbal medicine this semester that might be useful for you without even having to leave the confines of your ordinary spice cabinet. So there's a few things in here that almost everybody probably has in their spice cabinet right now that you can use for a whole host of things. So the first thing I'll talk about is rosemary. This is just some crushed rosemary. Rosemary is really great for a few different things. It's great for headaches. It's good for just general aches and pains. It's good for as a compress or as a tea. And if you've seen my Epsom salt bath video, I talk about sprinkling it in your Epsom salt bath if you don't have an essential oil handy. In order to make a tea or a compress, you'll make a tea for both of those. A compress would just be soaking a rag in that tea and then applying it, maybe to your neck or depending on where you need it. And I'm going to do a video about ginger and go into more details on how to properly make a tea, so look for that video. The other thing that's in your spice cabinet is cayenne pepper. Even if you don't like spicy food, this can be really good for aches and pains. Believe it or not, the capsaicin in cayenne actually has some pain blocking properties. So if you had really sore muscles and you didn't have, arnica or anything to help the sore muscle and you wanted something, you could just head to your spice cabinet, dish out a little bit of cayenne, mix it with your favorite lotion or oil, and you could rub it on your achy back or wherever needs it. Another thing about cayenne, in a real emergency, if you were to cut yourself badly and you needed to stop bleeding, cayenne actually stops the bleeding. Now, it's going to hurt to dump cayenne into a wound, but if you were in an emergency situation where it was a really bad cut and you needed to quell the bleeding while you get yourself to the hospital, that is something to help. Another thing that you might have in your spice cabinet that is really excellent is garlic. Now, not garlic powder, sorry, not dehydrated garlic, good old fresh garlic. These cloves of garlic last forever. They're cheap. There's no reason to buy not fresh garlic. But fresh garlic especially is really great because it's a natural antibiotic. My husband and I have used these as antibiotics a couple times. Once when there was an ear infection situation over Christmas and we were traveling, you can't really get, to the doctor for antibiotics. So you break off the individual clove. If you don't know, this is a head of garlic, and you break off these individual cloves. Might seem easy, but I didn't used to know that either. And you peel all the little papers off of here. But in order for garlic to work as an antibiotic, it has to be raw and it has to be chopped up. So what you would do is peel all your little papers off of this garlic and actually chop it into little small pieces. And the best way, I think, is to just swallow it whole with a glass of water. It's a little spicy, but it's real quick. You just get it down quickly with some water. And you want to take 2 to 3 cloves of garlic 2 to 3 times per day to use it as an antibiotic. It's a lot. You need a lot, right? Because antibiotics need to be powerful. But there's a compound in here called allicin that actually is destroyed by cooking, and that's what's antibiotic about garlic. So that's why it has to be raw. So again, 2 to 3 cloves of garlic per day, whole, chopped up, just mouthful at a time, and swallow it down with water. It might take a couple mouthfuls, but you just swallow it down with water like your pills. The final thing that I'll talk about is raw honey, and let me grab that actually. So raw honey can be really great for wounds, actually. And even in hospitals and ERs, they're using a product called Meta Honey that's based on the fact that raw honey is really good for wounds. But it has to be raw, and it's better if it's unfiltered. So if you've never seen raw unfiltered honey, you can see how it looks kind of white, yellow, and it's more solid. This isn't the kind of honey that you're probably used to dumping in your tea unless you're a crazy health store nut like me. So the reason is that the raw honey has all kinds of great enzymes. It also creates its own natural peroxide, so it helps keep wounds clean that way. And I've used this myself around the house, on myself, also on my dog when she was in a bad dog fight and badly injured. And she had some wounds that weren't healing at all. And within a day of putting the raw honey in her dressing as opposed to just an ointment, her wounds were half the size, and it was drawing infection out. It will actually pull infection out if you have any, and actually remove it from your wound. So those are just a few things that you probably have in your spice cabinet in your kitchen. Really useful, very practical herbal medicine things that I've learned this semester that I wanted to pass along to all of you. So hopefully that helps someone out today, and I'll see you all soon. Thanks.